Hello and welcome to She Leads Collective podcast. I'm Mary Gregory and I'm so glad you're here. This podcast is a space for honest conversations about what it really means to lead as a woman today and how we can all show up with more courage, care and clarity. You'll hear from inspiring women, powerful allies and bold truth tellers who are changing the game, not by playing tougher, but by leading smarter, softer and stronger. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the She Leads Collective podcast. And this episode is a little bit different. It's a chance for us to step back and reflect because we're coming to the end of season 2. And before we take a couple of weeks out, I want to take a moment to reflect not just on the conversations we've had, but on what sits underneath them. And when I look back across this season, what strikes me isn't just the individual stories, but it's the patterns, the themes that keep showing up, the tensions leaders are navigating, and the questions that don't always get asked out loud. So today is a chance to pause, to notice, and perhaps to make meaning of what this season has really been about. So let's start with theme number 1, success and the quiet question beneath it all. One of the strongest threads running through this season has been this. What happens when success stops feeling like success? We've heard from leaders who have done all the right things, built credible careers, delivered results, ticked all the boxes. And yet there's a quiet question underneath it all. Is this really it? Not always said out loud, but very often felt. And what's interesting is that this isn't about capability. It's not about ambition. It's about alignment. A growing awareness that external success and internal fulfilment don't always move in the same direction. Theme number 2, identity and the invisible load. Another theme that has come through strongly is identity, particularly in moments of transition, returning to work after children, stepping into bigger roles, navigating different cultures, or even redefining success entirely. What we've heard is that these aren't practical shifts, they're identity shifts. And often they come with an invisible load. The pressure to be a good leader, the pressure to be a good mother, a good colleague, a good human being, all at the same time. And when those expectations conflict, something has to give. Theme number 3, systems versus individuals. This season's also highlighted something I care deeply about, the tension between individual responsibility and systemic design. We've explored workplace cultures that reward visibility over value, systems that weren't designed with everyone in mind, norms that quietly shape who feels able to speak, lead and belong. And too often the response is to look at the individual. Individuals are asked to be more confident, to be more resilient, to lean in. But many of those challenges aren't individual problems. They are systemic patterns. And until we name that, we risk placing the burden in the wrong place. Theme number 4, the undiscussables. This season has also created space for conversations that don't often happen in leadership spaces. The things that sit just outside what feels appropriate for work. Health matters, loss, financial pressure, safety, life beyond the office. And yet these aren't separate from leadership. They shape how people show up, how they think, how they perform, and how they lead. Ignoring them doesn't remove them. It pushes them into the background. And the more we can bring these conversations into the foreground, the more opportunity there is to help people to show up fully at work and get these challenges addressed. Theme number 5, a different kind of leadership. And perhaps the most encouraging thread through all of this is the emergence of a different kind of leadership. One that is more relational, more reflective, more human, and more holistic. Not weaker, not softer in a diminishing sense, but more complete. Leadership that recognises complexity rather than trying to simplify it. Leadership that creates space rather than tries to fill it. Leadership that is willing to question, not just to perform. And my own personal reflection is that when I look back over this season, what I notice is how much of this work is about awareness. Not about having all the answers, but being willing to ask better questions of ourselves, of our organisations, and of the systems within which we operate. It's also about the quality of listening that we're willing to offer. Being open to alternative perspectives, being open to hear the things that sometimes make us uncomfortable, but which ultimately, when talked about and addressed, will make the difference to how everyone shows up at work and how we lead. So my invitation now is to you, the listener. Before we close this season, I want to leave you with a few questions to reflect on. Not to answer immediately, but to sit with. You might want to take these away, journal on them, or simply notice what comes up as I share them with you. So here we go, question number 1. Where in your life or leadership are you expressing success, but not necessarily feeling fulfilled? Number 2. What expectations are you carrying that might not actually be yours? Number 3. Where are you placing pressure on yourself that might be shaped by the systems around you? Number 4. What feels difficult to talk about, but is quietly impacting how you show up? And finally, but perhaps most importantly, what would change if you gave yourself permission to lead in a way that truly aligns with who you are? So we'll be taking a short break over the next couple of weeks, and we'll be back on the 29th of April with more conversations, more perspectives, and more space to explore what leadership really looks like today. Thank you so much for being part of this community and part of these conversations, for listening, for reflecting, and for engaging. And I look forward to seeing you in the next season. Thank you so much for listening to the She Leads Collective podcast. If this episode resonated with you, follow the show or share it with a friend and leave a quick review below. Or leave us a comment. Change happens through conversation, so let's keep this one going. Listen out for the next episode and join me as we keep lifting the lid on the stories that matter. Take care and keep leading with heart.